All right, so who's in charge of our children's education, their health, their well-being? Well, it should be the parents, right? But Dems love control. We've talked about it over and over and over again. That's what they're all about. They're all about control. They're all about overreach. They're all about politicizing every aspect of our lives. But when it comes to our kids' schooling, it shouldn't be. They love using anything. They use the pandemic, and they use lies about systemic racism to push their agenda. Look no further than Democratic Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe being called out by his opponent, Republican Glenn Youngkin, over critical race theory. Remember this? Take a listen to this.
He's talking about critical race theory, and it's not taught in our schools. But what I hate is this is a big dog whistle. I really hate it. It divides people.
And that was alarming enough for someone who wants to be a governor of a major state. By the way, adjacent to Washington, D.C. He holds a lot of power. McAuliffe knows everyone. He was buddies with the Clintons. We know that as well. He has a lot of power now. If he becomes Virginia governor again, he'll be wielding a lot more power again. This man says that it's not up to parents what our children are being taught in school. It's up to government? Is this what the new world is? It's up to government? Well, let's bring in Senator Mike Braun from Indiana, who has an issue with this as well. Senator, are you there? Let's see if we have the senator. Is he ready?
Should be, yeah.
There we go. There we go. Senator, tell us, you had a back and forth with Education Secretary Miguel Cardona recently. I'll play that soundbite in a minute, but just weigh in on this idea that the Democrats have that it's not up to parents what children are learning in school. It's up to government.
I think that is emblematic of everything you see them dishing out. I come from a place like Indiana that's been a leader on school choice and was on a school board for 10 years, and they're trying to federalize everything. And it'd be different if they've knocked anything out of the park over the years. And this is that Rahm Emanuel, don't let a crisis go to waste. And it started with COVID, with bureaucrats making decisions about essential businesses or not. And now they're trying to get into the classrooms. It's been the bailiwick of state and local government. So this was easy for him. He was actually in Indiana trying to visit school districts to push mask mandates and maybe talk about critical race theory. That's a tough place to do it in Indiana in general. And then comes back to where we have the hearing and making that point that school boards need to be maybe the most important thing, along with teachers' unions. And it was an easy question to tee up. I gave him a chance to retract his statement that some of the discord at the school board meetings was because we were unhappy with the election results. He refused to do that, but it's an attitude that federal government knows best on everything. And even if you borrow money from your kids and grandkids to put policy into place, they keep pushing it.
Yeah, we know best. So we're big government. We know what's better for you and your children. It's insane. Matt Walsh, a gentleman we have on the show quite a bit, he's a conservative commentator, got so mad about it. He had kids in school. He got so mad he wanted the microphone. He wanted to tell the school board what he felt about what they were doing to his kids. They wouldn't let him do it because they said he wasn't in the district. So what he did is he went around the system. He played by their games, their shenanigans. He rented a place in the district, so he got a chance for I believe it was 60 seconds at the microphone. Look how this went for him.
You are all child abusers. You prey upon impressionable children and indoctrinate them into your insane ideological cult, a cult which holds many fanatical views, but none so deranged as the idea that boys are girls and girls are boys. By imposing this vile nonsense on students to the point even of forcing young girls to share locker rooms with boys, you deprive these kids of safety and privacy and something more fundamental too, which is truth. If education is not grounded in truth, then it is worthless. Worse, it is poison.
All right. Well, so Senator, I'm glad he did what he did. He got his voice heard. But since then, since that happened, their school boards are asking the DOJ to look at parents as possible domestic terrorists. What the hell is happening in America?
I mean, when it gets to that, and if people actually think that parents shouldn't be that primary stakeholder, when we raise the kids, we pay the bills through property taxes and support our local public school systems. A place like Indiana, thank goodness, leads the nation on school choice and other alternatives. You've got even the School Board Association lining up with the teachers union on this stuff. And that means the most important entry level into public service ought to be at our school boards, because it's bad enough seeing what's happening in terms of policy and so many other areas. Let's make sure that we in our communities have people on our school boards that represent our values, that at least the parent ought to be the primary stakeholder. So I think it's going to be an important place where people make sure down the road, with all the COVID mandates, the masking, not to mention things like critical race theory, make sure your school boards represent your local community's values.
Man, our first segment was how Facebook was feeding or allowing our youngest minds to be infected with their biased political opinion, and now we're talking about teachers unions telling parents, step back, we'll tell you what we're going to teach your kids, not you, or we're going to call you a domestic terrorist. Unbelievable. Senator Mike Braun, thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.